How much did weather play a role in Championship Sunday? Alongside Tim Hasselbeck, I am Jim Basquil. Tim, will start in the NFC, and we're going to take a look at the weather conditions because there was rain on and off in both games. In the NFC, obviously, Seattle was home to Green Bay, and they're accustomed to rain in Seattle. But how much do you suppose it played a role with the on and off rain throughout the day in this game?
I don't think that the on and off rain was really much of an issue. And I thought when you saw both quarterbacks throw the football, it wasn't the precipitation necessarily that was a factor. And when you saw both quarterbacks, throw the football, a relatively good command of it.
Yeah, it's true.
I do think, if anything, you could maybe look at the wind becoming somewhat of an issue. You look at Russell Wilson's second interception, ball kind of died on him. The interception thrown to Richard Sherman by Aaron Rodgers was slightly underthrown. Sam Shields had an interception on what looked like to be an underthrown ball, all going the same direction. And so I think, if anything, maybe there was a little bit of wind that was difficult to gauge. But in terms of, the sun poking through those clouds and the rain coming down, what looked like pretty hard at times, I'm not so sure that the dampness of the ball and the conditions in that regard were much of an issue.
Yeah, you saw the weather right there, and the wind was a good point because there was 5 interceptions by 2 quarterbacks that it's uncharacteristic. They don't throw interceptions. 5 in the first half of that game. It settled down a little bit in the second half. In Foxborough, the rain kind of came down a little bit more at the end, but by that time, the game was kind of in hand. How much do you suppose it might have impacted, obviously, the team on the wrong side of the scoreboard?
I really can't say it was much of an issue for the Colts. You just have to think about the game plan coming in for New England, considering the regular season matchup where they just ran it down the Colts' throat with Jonas Gray. I think that was going to be the game plan coming into this game, no matter if it was a beautiful night out or if it was the downpour that we saw. It was a different running back, but the same result. They really just were able to control the line of scrimmage, run the football. The passing game for New England was pretty much a short to intermediate passing game, especially on third down to Edelman. And then for the Colts, they just had a hard time doing anything offensively. And I don't know that you can pin that on, the weather as much as just how they match up well with the Indianapolis Colts. When you put Browner on Fleener and you put Revis on T.Y. Hilton or you put someone else on like Arrington on Hilton and give him help over the top. I think ultimately just a bad matchup for the Indianapolis Colts.
How do you suppose it might have played out a little differently if the game was played at Lucas Oil Stadium?
Well, listen, when you look at the Colts, they're a team that could use every advantage possible because I don't think that they're as strong of a team, period. I think they have a very good quarterback that makes up for a lot of ills, and they have a pretty good group of corners kind of spearheaded by Vontae Davis. But listen, I don't think it's fair to the New England Patriots to say the result would be any different when you consider what they did in the regular season matchup at Lucas Oil.
Absolutely. They ran over him even more so in that game. Yeah. So it's hard to imagine it would have changed any differently. It's the number 1 seeds, the Patriots, the Seahawks, in Super Sunday, despite those weather conditions this past Sunday. For Tim Hasselbeck, I'm Jim Basquil.